Let's welcome Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa back to the show. Great to have you back on, Senator.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I'd like your reaction to, it's good to see you again, Peter Strzok, the former FBI official fired for anti-Trump bias in his text messages. He has a new book out. He is now downplaying his anti-Trump text messages where he said we are going to stop Trump from getting elected. He's downplaying the Flynn probe, saying we didn't set up a perjury trap for General Michael Flynn. He's downplaying the Steele dossier, which the Democrats funded, which the FBI used to help justify FISA wiretaps. He's downplaying that. He's now calling the Steele dossier, saying it put the FBI on a goose chase. Your reaction to what Peter Strzok is now saying?
Everything that he has said, we have ample evidence, including his own emails, that refute it. And we have notes and things like that just says that he is misleading to cover up something, I presume. We all know that Lieutenant General Flynn got the shaft. He was set up. We know that he should not be even in trial right now or before a judge right now, because the executive branch of government that has the power to prosecute decided that the case against him was so flimsy. They even set up a special U.S. attorney to look at it. And that's why Barr said that they ought to be dropped. And then we got this crazy thing that the judicial branch thinks that they can be prosecutor and judge at the same time. And so we have the D.C. Circuit set in. This guy has been treated miserably, and he ought to be let go, and he ought to be able to live the rest of his life as a citizen, and let him make some money to make up for all this tremendous cost that the government caused him because they entrapped him.
You know, Senator, you've been fighting the good fight in D.C. for a long time. I've been watching your career since the 80s. U.S. Attorney John Durham is reportedly looking into who at the FBI misled the FISA court, which is meant to catch terrorists. Strzok was in on getting those FISA wiretaps to spy on the Trump team. FBI officials covered up from the court all sorts of things and misled the FISA court. And we have, you know, the question is, John Durham, the U.S. attorney in a criminal probe, is reportedly looking into the abuses of the FISA court under the Obama administration. Peter Strzok says he's not basically was not interviewed by Durham here. Do you think he's a target or a witness?
Well, if he isn't, there's several people that ought to be, and McCabe's one that, just to show you that there's unequal justice here in Washington, D.C., McCabe lied 2 or 3 times, and he's never been prosecuted. And Flynn was entrapped, and he's prosecuted, and it's probably cost him millions and millions of dollars to defend himself.
You know, here's the other thing. You make a good point about unequal justice in D.C., because we're seeing we're digging into what happened with that FISA court. 85% of the NSA, there was something like 85% of the FISA court searches done in 2015. This was a FISA court audit. They were non-compliant. This is under the Obama administration. So the FBI, the NSA, the DOJ was going to the FISA court to get wiretaps, and then the information that was collected was then given to outside contractors, including at places like the FBI. So the abuse of the FISA court is key to the Durham probe. Your reaction to that?
Well, of course it's key, and I wish I could tell you when Durham's going to do more prosecution like the one he's already prosecuted. But I want to make very clear, I would like to have people that violated the law to be prosecuted. But the most important thing is between now and November 3rd, all of this information ought to be out for the voters' consideration of how unjustly the Trump campaign was spied on in the first place, and all the undercover things, including lying to the FISA court to spy on that campaign, and involving a lot of other people like Carter Page and Papadopoulos and those people that had very little to do with the campaign, nothing but an interest to get to the spying on the Trump campaign. This thing cannot happen again, and we got to make sure the people know it before the election.
Yeah, it's about civil liberties, which you've been a champion of.
Yeah, it could happen.
It could happen to you,
Elizabeth. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Senator. Remember, can you talk to us about what happened in mid-July? The Democrats were alleging that Republicans were relying on disinformation in the intelligence community report. Can you talk to us about that and what's happening with this addendum to that intelligence community report? That, in other words, that the focus should be on China. Democrats like Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff say, no, it's Russia. Can you talk to us about what happened here?
Well, of course. But it's kind of complicated because what the Democrats are using is foreign disinformation to make a claim that our investigation involves the dissemination of foreign disinformation. And we're not even involved in that sort of thing. Everything that we're involved in is using documents within the federal government. So it's all an effort on their part because they do not want this truth to come out. They're doing everything to inhibit this investigation whatsoever, and we can't let it happen. This is just another thing that we talk about Flynn, getting that information out before the election. This information ought to be out before the election. It goes pretty high up with some people and families that are involved right now in these election campaigns.
So it looks like the Democrats are creating fake footnotes and fake addenda to intelligence community reports that weren't in the original reports and disseminating to the media as if this is what the intelligence community is talking about. Is that what they're doing?
Absolutely, and I can tell by your question, you've studied this thing really in the weeds, and I compliment you for doing that because you have seen through it. But a lot of the other people, the other journalists that have been used by the Democrats, haven't dug this deep, and they have fallen for this argument that we're disseminating Russian disinformation. And those footnotes you're talking about is a reference to the foreign disinformation that they're using against us to accuse us of using foreign disinformation.
Well, it's gotten really like a circus hall of mirrors down there, Senator, and we're so glad that we have you to break it down for us because, you're making a great point, Senator, because the American people, the American voter is being misled by the mainstream media, and we're getting to the bottom of it thanks to your help, Senator. Will you come back soon?
Well, I come back anytime you ask me. You know that.
Okay, sure. Senator Grassley, thanks for joining us.